Hey guys, welcome to my channel and the 12 principles of personal branding. My name's Audrey Anderson and please stick around to the end because you can hit like, subscribe or share it. So building your personal brand can be an ambitious and profound project for you to get started. And wanting to know where to get started on the top of all things that you've got to consider, you perhaps might get stuck on this. But one of the most successful producers in Hollywood, Shonda Lynn Rhimes, the producer of Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, Private Practice, started by going through many career variations on her way to becoming a top producer, who's now working with Netflix. She began her work as an unemployed screenwriter. So looking at a year that has become 2020 and the evolving labor market, I had an epiphany when reading LinkedIn study on job searchings and people in career. It highlighted that the labor market is becoming more and more competitive, and it's for essentials for people to actually start developing a brand and trying to stand out from the crowd. And how to succeed in business, a personal brand is virtually for anyone who wants to know about marketing their business and who also wants to help themselves get hired. So there's some principles, 12 of them, that I use in personal branding and helping you get started in engaging and inviting a community. So the first thing I do is you've got to have a point of focus. So all of us need to understand the importance of branding. We are the CEOs of our own companies. So to be in business today, the most important job is to be your own head marketer. And that was really part of a quote from Tom Peters. A critical focus is at the other end of the track. There is your most significant opportunity to become a free agent in this free agent economy. Looking to have an outstanding season in your professional career, you can visualize the mountain, you can hit that home run depending on how you brand yourself, and you can be a micro equivalent of Apple. When you focus on one message at a time, you are shaping that message to your target demographic, and it's much easier to create content around that personal brand. And if you do, you're not only able to take advantage of this opportunity within your reach, you're also making a contribution to your future success. You're in a better position to negotiate a better spot for yourself, better money when you're a free agent. When done strategically, your brand becomes honestly an indivisible force. So starting your personal brand, I'm saying niche down, people. There is a temptation to want to write a general copy when it comes to industries, but that's one of the things that you can do which will probably hurt yourself. However, instead of being a generalist and trying to appeal to a wider audience, be specific. Why, you might ask? Since the narrower the topic, the less time it's going to take, the less research. If you're new into a profession, you don't want to wade through all this data. You kind of want to focus tight and you'll want to go deep. You will notice that you'll have a keen understanding of the industry as a whole after you've explored specific topics and have a greater authority on it. Then you can broaden your horizons and extend your topics. Number 2, remain positive. A positive personal brand presence on social media can transform and contribute to your career. In a leader, likability counts more than about every other attribute, and that's not to say that a competent leader doesn't need any other attributes. It's just you want to be likable, and you want to actually have this likability so that others will see your activities as lively, constructive. You're listening to them. You're taking all of these qualities to establish an atmosphere in which we become loved and likable. While it seems easy, it really isn't. So positive energy is contagious. It catches on. And if we remain optimistic and express our thoughts and suggestions in a positive manner, there's an overwhelming benefit to you and to your personal brand. Now, if you want to be effective and be likable as part of your strategy, it needs to be genuine. And a commitment to this means that you cannot be fake. You cannot manipulate your brand. It must be really authentic to who you are, and your audience is in tune and they can sense if you're actually not being true to who you are. This is number 3, do not be fake or try to copy someone else. There's an easier way to have an original personal brand, and that's be genuine and authentic to who you are. In a world where we can connect to whomever we want, connect to someone who's boring, why would we connect to someone who's boring or uninteresting? And it's an interesting tightrope to walk, and that was something that was quoted by Seth Godin. Now, your personal brand needs to be authentic and engaging on social media. Why would you try to be like someone else? You lose yourself, and on top of that, you cannot really be someone else. You are who you are, and your personal brand should be a comfortable daily outfit that you really create content for you to reach out to who your audience is. And finally, like for me, I'm terribly casual. I don't wear a lot of makeup. I don't really fix my hair. And that is really authentic to who my personal brand is. So if I've gained a reputation for being an expert in a chosen profession, while also magnifying the same reputation for my social network, my credibility alone will actually rise, and people will recognize I'm a talent in that field. So that's what I want to share with you. Number 4, you want to share your personal story or your personal narrative. You've also lost half of your audience if you're not telling a story. Now, in regards to this, personal branding is no longer about self-promotion or a vanity project. It's about sharing stories. When we've discovered that while evaluating your brand strategy, there's a profound storytelling quotes that I would like to share with you. So stories are not for playwrights or film directors or writers. These quotes demonstrate that it's a valuable platform from presidents to company managers to marketing managers and to your brand Inc. So here's one of my favorite storytelling quotes from an icon in the film industry to motivate you on your pursuit, to have a strong narrative. Storytelling is like joke telling. It's knowing your punchline, your ending. It's knowing that everything you're saying from the first sentence to the last is leading to a singular goal, and ideally confirming some truth that deepens our understanding of who we are as individuals. So the greatest story commandment, make me care. That's what you want to do. Please, you're asking people with your personal branding to care about you. So then number 5 is you want to produce consistent content. This is even more straightforward to understand. You're focusing on one subject if you deliver regular content in the brand voice about it. It is similar to maintaining that narrow vision that your audience learns, and they kind of expect a rhythm in your communication, a tempo that will connect you to them, and it'll build a reputation. And they feel like they become part of your inner circle. No matter what industry you're in, you're ambitiously trying to enter, personal branding strategy can create a really wonderful, consistent product for people to understand who you are. A great story is true. Not necessarily that it's factual, but consumers are good at sniffing out inconsistencies in marketing. So you want to keep your brand story consistent. 6, be daring and be ready to fail. Like this video here. Look, I'm not ready, but failure can be transformative, and yet we choose to avoid it in general. And this is human nature. However, you will have disappointments and failures. And if you're not prepared to be wrong, you will never come up with anything original. And that's from Ken Robinson. And he was a remarkable educator and, one of the most seen 2006 TED Talks. The element is about discovering yourself, and you can't do that if you're trapped in a compulsion to conform, and you won't be yourself in a swarm. And that's another one from Ken. So before the company entered into any movie making industries, Marvel was selling comic books, and then they nearly filed for bankruptcy in 1996. But then they've had a slew of hit films from Spider-Man, The Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy. And what they've done is they had a failure, and then they turned it around, and now they're a subsidiary of Disney. Number 7, a philosophy of love. It might seem counterintuitive to run your personal brand strategy with love. However, it's the most pragmatic way to approach your brand strategy. You are treating your audience or your community or like a family member. And in one word, the most thing that I relate to when I hear family is the word love. So the director of an 80-year-old study of adult development, George Varland, stated, happiness is love, full stop. The study followed Harvard graduates over their lifetime and determined loving relationships as the most prominent indicator of happiness and income. So Sean Anker, the author of The Happiness Advantage, provides us with the following stats. When the brain is in a positive mood, sales performance increases by 31%. Intellect, imagination, memory dramatically increases. So we're up to number 8, follow a thriving model. Brands need to be experimental like startups are. The presence of an omni-channel allows brands to meet consumers and provide them with customer experience at all points of interaction, online and offline. Increasingly, startups are winning the omni-channel game, prompting the need for big brands and for personal branding to follow suit. So according to the numbers, omni-channel consumer engagements maintain 89% of their clients compared to those who don't. So you want to be consistent again, online and offline. The presence of an omni-channel allows you to reach your tribe and provide them with a meaningful message at any point of the interaction, online and offline. And you're going to leverage social media platforms. You want to create a unified content on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. So number 9, you're going to start from the inside out. As described earlier, one of the ways you can make it difficult for yourself is creating a personal brand that is not really true to who you are. Although it's doable, it's easier for you to have an actual lifestyle and brand which are one and the same when first developing your brand. So how do you know when you are living your true message? And this is the question that has been asked. So a top-notch person in business coaching or personal brand would say to you, you will know when you're being authentic. So it sounds elusive, it sounds ethereal, but perhaps a trifle irritating. But if you're in sync with what you're going about from the time you get out of bed to the time you go to bed, you'll get a gratification in what's going on in your life. You're actually, again, wearing the same clothes. Number 10, the power of the word of mouth. The best PR in the world is word of mouth, and the development of a personal brand in the public domain is no exception to this maxim. Now, you want to use word of mouth in personal branding, and how do you do it? Now, according to Edelman 2019 survey, 63% of customers between the ages of 18 and 34, what influenced them about a brand was not the advertisement, but the word of mouth. And these are the seed agents. So you need your own seed agents. And these are people that you've worked with, and you will use them on LinkedIn. During a time of instability and confusion and concern, personal recommendations from co-workers, from managers are more attractive for you than anything else. They create trust and they generate a favorable online review from someone else about who you are. So the holy grail of branding is a credible source. So a co-worker, a manager, recommending you or endorsing your skill sets can do wonders for your personal brand. 11, brandscaping, which is really to cut the noise out. In a noisy world, you don't want to become louder. To be understood in this industry or society, it takes concentration and integrity. You'll get lost in the noise if your message isn't straightforward, consistent, precise. Brandscaping involves reducing the noise and the distractions to disorientate your audience. Successful branding means identifying the element you want to talk about, and then you peel away the superfluous. And you have it niched down your message, and you will stick out from the crowd and be remembered for it. And my last point, people, is you are your brand Inc. There is a growing fluidity between working with a company and working for your brand Inc. And what we're saying is there's that line which is blurred. So if you're working corporate, you still want to maintain a personal brand, because you could be a remote worker in the future, and you still want to have that brand which is really easily identifiable to you, which is you're the CEO of your brand. You might just happen to work for a corporation, or you might be a freelancer. So always growing and fashioning your personal brand is hugely important. So in conclusion, a personal brand is a lifetime endeavor that continually develops and expands, and some professionals who create or improve the biggest brands in industries such as Nike and Apple also know the value of personal branding. But these principles are here to encourage you to get started, and either get started in branding yourself or get started rebranding. Developing a personal identity could be the difference between you and your competition and finding a job. So peace out, people. Thanks for listening. Have a lovely weekend and week. Cheers.